Welcome to your intended message. It's a solo show today. It's me, George Torok, offering you some of my insights and perspective on how to communicate more effectively. Today, some mistakes to avoid in the words and phrases that we choose. Here's the dirty dozen words and phrases that sabotage your message. The first category is words that are vague. What are words that are vague? Can you think of vague words? Well, it's hard to think of vague words, but here's some that we use too many times. Stuff. There's stuff. Good stuff. We got stuff for you. Really? What does stuff look like? What does stuff smell like? The only stuff that's any good is what we put in the turkey. Another vague word is things. What are the things we have to do to improve things around here? What are the things that are getting in our way? Instead, find a word that's specific. Avoid the vague words, because vague words don't make a connection. They don't stimulate thinking. When you say things, do you mean problems? Do you mean points? Do you mean inventory units? Do you mean services? Do you mean features, benefits? Say the words you mean. Don't say things or stuff. Second category is double negatives. Avoid negative speaking. You want to move people, then use positive thinking. Positive thinking, positive words move people forward. Here are some double negatives to avoid. Don't hesitate to call me. Does that mean call me? Does that mean you want me to call you? Don't hesitate to call me. Don't is negative. Hesitate is negative. Don't. So you start that sentence with two negatives, and then there's a call me. What sticks in our mind? The negatives. Instead, just call me. Call me when you're ready. Or I wouldn't hesitate to recommend. Well, yeah, recommend's a good word at the end there, but then you've got that cumbersome double negative, wouldn't hesitate. Or, here's another one. If it's no trouble, well, what if it is trouble? And no and trouble, both negative words. So, at your convenience, I'd appreciate. Sounds better. At your convenience instead of if it's no trouble. Oh, and by the way, avoid the double negative in a question. Here's one. Don't you agree? Well, how do you answer that question? Think about that. Don't you agree? If you agree, the correct answer to that question is no. No, I agree. Don't you agree? Because don't you agree, what you do is you turn. How do you figure out what that means? You've turned it into a statement. So it's saying, you don't agree? You don't agree? No, I do agree. Just too confusing, takes too much energy to process. Avoid the silly double negatives as statements or questions. Just throw them out. Emotional triggers. This is another category. This is a broad category that covers a lot of areas. And these words are usually related to culture, religion, disability, sex, politics, and other emotionally charged issues. It's hard to identify all of these. Here's a simple example. A friend of mine was speaking at an event, and he used the phrase, he referred to outside possibility of a nutcase doing something. A nutcase. He was speaking to a group of healthcare officials. They didn't like that word. That was a trigger word. That was an emotional trigger. Be careful about the emotional triggers that you might use by accident. Insulting. Be aware of phrases that are insulting, can be insulting to your audience. You might say, well, I didn't mean to insult them. Well, maybe you didn't mean, but here are some of those words. Obviously. Well, if it was obvious, why do you have to say it's obvious? Or you probably never heard of. Well, why are you insulting me again? Or Everybody knows, apparently everybody knows except me. Be careful, avoid those insulting phrases. Another category, self-diminishing and false modesty. What does that mean? Well, how do you feel? What do you feel and what do you think when you hear these phrases? In my humble opinion, is the person trying to be modest, and are they really not modest, but they're pretending to be humble? Or here's my 2 cents worth. Well, if it's only 2 cents worth, we don't need to hear it, because we want the big dollar ideas, not your 2 cents worth. Or here's another phrase. I'm just saying, which is an apology, and again, false humility. Avoid those phrases. Another set of phrases that come within this category that is self-diminishing is when you make a statement and then you add a maybe at the end. Here's an example. There's no question. We will have this delivered by Friday, I think. There's no question. We will have this done by Friday, I guess. There's no question. We'll have it done by Friday, I hope. Doesn't work. Avoid tacking on those conditional maybes. Dishonest or insincere. Oh, you don't want to be dishonest or insincere, would you? However, have you heard or used these phrases? Honestly? Honestly? Well, oh, okay, so what comes next is honest, and what was before that wasn't honest? Is that what you're saying? Do I get you right? And are you sometimes honest and not honest? Or very similar, to tell the truth. Oh, you're going to tell the truth now. Oh, so glad that for a change you're telling the truth. Here's another one. With all due respect. When a person says with all due respect, what they really mean is there's not much respect due, and I'm only going to give you what I think is due, which is not much. So they're hiding, they're being dishonest. Next category is clichés. Clichés are easy to use, and it's lazy language. It exhibits unoriginal thought. So when you spout a cliche, your listeners, their mind shuts down and says, nothing new here, just an old cliche. And right at the top of the list of my favorite one that I hate is think outside the box. Think outside the box. And you might say, I'm an outside the box thinker. Or you're speaking to your team and say, I want you to think outside the box on this one. Really? Really? You want people to be creative. You want them to think creatively, and you're trying to inspire that creativity by spouting a cliche that's at least 50 years old? How is that demonstrating that you value thinking outside the box? You want a better phrase? Go ahead. Think outside the box and come up with a better phrase. Tell me what you come up with. I'd be delighted to hear. Next category is jargon. In every organization, every group, every club, every tribe has its own jargon. And when you join a new tribe, you know how exciting it is after the first month or so when you speak the local lingo, you speak the jargon of the tribe. And that's fine when you're speaking to tribe members, but when you speak outside the tribe, they don't understand the jargon. Be careful with the jargon. Be aware of it. Closely related to jargon is the next category, and that's colloquial or slang. Avoid the street talk, because that puts you in that street category. And one of my favorites in this category is the phrase, you guys, you guys, you guys. That's street talk. That's gang talk, you guys. Did you know that the word you is an unusual word in the English language because it's both singular and plural. So whether you're speaking to one person or a group of people, you can use the word you. This is for you. Here's what it means to you. It's correct and it's connecting. And what's nice about it is it speaks to people individually. Stop calling us you guys. Next category, Absolutes. Absolutes. Avoid absolutes. Absolutes are almost always, not always, but almost always. I'm just walking on the edge of absolutes there. Almost always untrue, a lie. If I said they're always a lie, that would be a lie. But I said they're almost always. Be careful to absolutes. Here's a phrase to be aware of. I see this all the time. All the time. What does that mean, all the time? Does that mean that you see it once a year? Once a month? Once a week? Once a day? Once an hour? Once a minute? Once a second? What does all the time mean, and what are you really trying to say? Are you saying that you dealt with this 3 years ago, or that this has been coming up in the last 2 weeks, but it's not all the time? We can't see what all the time is. We don't know what that means. So be careful of absolutes. The next category. Not a terrible category, not one of the worst offenders, but still on our list of the dirty dozen, and that's adverbs. Often we use adverbs poorly. Now, an adverb, the purpose of an adverb is to modify, to define a verb, an adjective, or another adverb. The purpose of the adverb is to add more clarification, to add color, to paint a picture that we can understand. A modifier helps us understand what it is you want to modify. The two big flaws here, the two big mistakes, the word very and really. Now, when you say it's very cold, what does that mean? Who knows what that is? Does that mean that you're at the beach in Acapulco and you had to put a sweater on? Or does that mean that it was snowing, it was freezing? Or does that mean it not only was it snowing and freezing, it was sub-zero, it was frigid? Very doesn't tell us anything other than that you are lazy in finding and failed to find a better modifier. Same thing goes for really. It was really cold. Really? Really? Is that what you're saying? Really cold? And is the opposite of really cold unreally cold? Imaginary cold? Not real, but imaginary. Very and really. Avoid those. Put them away. And finally, the last category you probably wanted is number 12 on our dirty dozen words and phrases that sabotage your message. Like whatever. Filler words. These verbal tics are simply noises that escape your mouth while you're thinking and trying to come up with something better. Keep your mouth shut. Think with your mouth shut, not with it open. Get rid of the fillers. So there you have the dirty dozen words and phrases that sabotage your mess. Now you know what they are, and you can avoid these landmines. I'm George Torok, and for more tips on communication, how to communicate, come back every week to listen to our podcast. We have interviews with experts from around the world, or occasionally you'll hear directly from me with my tips and my insights. If you want weekly tips on presentation skills, go to the site toroktips.com. toroktips.com, and you can find that link in the description below. Talk to you next time. If you like what you heard, tell your friends. And post your 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, because that helps more listeners find us. Come back every week for more practical insights to help you deliver your intended message. I'm your host, George Torok.